I turned 28 today, and I want to talk about all of the things that I have learned so far. Well, the top 5 lessons that I wish that I knew when I was younger. I didn't have to suffer to understand. And if you're watching this, I hope that this is something that you can learn early enough, early on, to where you don't have to suffer nearly as much as I did. Let's get into it. Okay, hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. Yes, it is my actual birthday today, October 6th, a Libra season, and I just wanted to have just a bit of reflection in that, like, damn, I'm really only 2 years away from being 30, and I am nowhere where I thought I would be in my life in certain and honestly most of my categories: financial, emotional, romantic, career. I am a bit more behind than I just pictured myself to be. And although I have become accepting of it now, like I'm accepting that the timeline that I'm on is the one that I'm meant to be on, I still think that there were lessons and seasons and things that I went through that were a bit harder than they had to be, because I just didn't have the awareness, the tools that I'm going to share right now. I wrote it down and everything. So number 1, de-center romantic love and enjoy your own company. Now, I feel like this is a tale as old as time. People are always telling you, oh, focus on yourself, and eventually you'll get the partner, you'll get the wife, you'll get the husband or whatever. And as a single person, I feel like that is hella frustrating to hear, like, oh, focus on yourself, because it implies that you hadn't been doing that prior. And I at least know for me, I've always been somebody who has had like pretty good balance in routine. Maybe because of the athletics, but working out has never been a problem for me, right? I've always maintained my health in general. What's something else that people tend to focus on? Having hobbies, things that they enjoy, right? Because of my ADHD, I've always been a person that has been very quick to find interest and just jump into them and get involved with them. And so I felt like this advice of, oh, just focus on yourself was never really applicable to me. And it was just, as I said, insulting and frustrating. However, I don't think that I've ever intentionally dated myself. I have habits, I have routines, but I'm not doing stuff on purpose anymore. It is very much autopilot. So I feel like in order to be intentional in dating yourself, you have to do something that's outside of your norm. You have to make a purposeful plan and say, hey, today I am going to do XYZ for myself, and really like stick to it. Because that's something else that I'm pretty bad at. It's not as if I've never taken myself out on a movie date or out to eat. I'm not saying that, but I am quick to cancel on myself. I'm very quick to just be like, oh, you know, very lazy in terms of my efforts towards myself sometimes. Something, for example, that I've been really locked in on is buying myself flowers every single week. I know that sounds very small, but I think having that muscle of, I am going to do this for myself. Every Sunday, I'm going to check these flowers, change out the water, add the food if the flowers are still fresh, and the minute that I see them wilting and rotting, I'm going to go and make myself a bouquet. I don't ever buy like the pre-made ones. I always buy the flowers and match them up to look a certain way for myself to put into my vase. Something else that I started doing is having very slow, intentional mornings with myself. I uploaded this in one of my ADHD vlogs, but all of this to say, just taking the time to really love on you for real, and as I said, be intentional and thoughtful about it, I think has meant the world in terms of my ability to feel grounded even in my singleness. I have a really good routine. I think that I'm a great partner for relationship. What's wrong with these people and not choosing me? This looks crazy with this mask on my face, but hey, we chilling. Kind of ruminating on these, what's wrong with people? I'm so great. You get lost in that and you lose connection with yourself. You're losing, again, that intentional mindfulness, thoughtfulness internally. And I have never been good at that. Like, I am being fully transparent here that I don't think that I've truly ever had a season in all of these 28 years so far where I have been like, no, I am the focus, I am the center. When I want to go have fun and feel good, I'm going to make sure that I have the means to do that for myself. I'm actually getting ready to go on a birthday vacation that I planned for myself last minute at that. I literally booked it a week ago. I was not playing. And it's like, I need to really get into the pattern and the routine of just showing up for me instead of lamenting on the fact that, oh, I don't have this romantic partner to show up for me yet. So I really encourage everybody to do that. If you find yourself always feeling lonely and empty and in dead-end relationships with people that you know good and well that you cannot marry. Let's be so for real. There are people that you date and you know good and well that how they act, how they treat you is not conducive for a real long-term relationship. But because you want to have a connection, because you feel like you're a good person, you want the space to prove that. And I totally understand, right? There's nothing worse than preparing for a marathon and then you show up to the race and nobody told you it was canceled. It makes you feel like all of that effort, all of that work that you've been putting in has added up to nothing. I think that's really what people mean when they say love on yourself. It's take that work, that effort, that energy, and then just direct it inwards, because you can't control what happens to it once it goes externally. Like, you cannot control somebody wasting your time. Okay, the second thing, along with like reflecting that energy and that effort back into yourself, embrace your sense of beauty, attractiveness, or appeal, and understand that like everybody is different. Not everybody is a video vixen. Not everybody is, who's somebody that we all think is a Jalen Hurts.
So that's what y'all want to see, huh?
Not everybody is Jalen Hurts, right? Like, not everybody has this suave, sexy, alluring persona, and like, that's okay. I think that TikTok actually had this debate, at least on my side of TikTok. I'm in like pop culture TikTok. It was this debate about how not everybody is an IG baddie. Some girls are cutie patooties and da-da-da. And it took a very strange direction, right? Like, the conversation started off innocent and it got very weird very fast. But I think that the conversation did have a lot of truth to it, in that you have to understand what makes you appeasing and attractive. This item that you're wearing, this hair color, this hairstyle, again, choice of clothing, that these are all things that objectively speaking make you look better. It compliments you. It does you very good favors. That's how I feel about like this color of hair that I have. I feel like it is very complimentary to my skin tone. It's not that I was ugly or unattractive in other colors. It's like embracing the things that I know just add to the beauty that I already have. It just enhances it. What did they call it in Korea? I think it's called looksmaxing, lookism. I read a manhwa about it. But for real, like, just the things that you already have naturally occurring to you, figure out what those features are and then just boost them up. Just boost them up. Like, really lean into that. If you have big doe eyes, lean into that. If you know that, you know, I don't know, maybe your scent collection is like that as a man, you go crazy with the colognes, lean into that. Like, lean into the things that would allow for people to be drawn and attracted to you, not for the purpose of, oh, I'm gonna go get, you know, the love of my life because of this, but more like, you don't know what opportunities you're inviting in and onto yourself by making sure that your outward expression is as approachable as possible, right? Like potential business connections, potential, you know, maybe potential romantic connections, but new friendships. You really never know where just looking your best can lead you. I share this story all the time about how I was in Walmart and I was kind of irritated about the amount of money that I've been spending lately because I didn't have stable income, and somebody paid for my grocery cart simply because they thought that I looked good. And I firmly believe that people are nicer to you the better that you look. It's not fair, but you know, it is what it is. People are superficial. And so why not take advantage of that, right? Take advantage of that knowledge, of that social occurrence, and try to see how you can use it to your advantage, you know? This is especially true when we're talking about careers, since I said networking and opportunities. The amount of times that I've been in a space, let's say even a conference, and I have felt like people were more likely to approach me over my peers And it is because I look visually appeasing. I look like, you know, the human eye wants to turn to the things that it finds interesting and attractive. And so I made myself the thing that was interesting and attractive. And it has 100% landed me a lot of different opportunities. The third thing, set your standards only as high as you can reflect them. I can never say that I want a man to trick out on me, buy me dozens of roses, and, you know, rent out a movie theater for me. And that's not the type of time that I'm on with myself. So it relates to the first point of decenter romantic love and, you know, really emphasize your own self-value, self-worth, intentions and efforts. Because how can I say that I want something and I'm not treating myself by that same metric? That applies for friendships too. How can you say that you want these very deep and kind female friendships, male friendships, a safe space, and you're not a safe space? Like, you're literally an asshole. Right? You're a jerk. Nobody likes to talk to you. You're mean, but yet you want this kindness. You want this thing that you don't even have the ability to give back. Now, this isn't to say that just because you treat yourself very well and you have certain standards for yourself that you won't attract garbage, because honey attracts both bees and horse shit. Oh wait, horse flies. You know, it wasn't just in the mentions of, or the realms of romance, but the idea of having a standard that you yourself meet is for anything. So, you know, before you go to fix your lips to say what it is that you don't like or what it is that you expect, just have the means and ability to sit with yourself and go, well, what am I doing? What does my end look like? Be able to hold up that mirror to yourself, because otherwise what you're going to end up becoming is an avoidant. You can become an avoidant just by having very poor ability to self-reflect and have self-awareness and just confront yourself about certain weaknesses and shortcomings that you are demanding and expecting everywhere else, right? You end up becoming a hypocrite. So being very mindful of that. I would say that for me, the lesson that I had to learn for, you know, not being an internal hypocrite was mainly about friends. Like, I always will want my friends to stand up for themselves or put their foot down with this and that. And I'm always great at giving this good advice, and I don't follow it for myself, right? Like, I have all of this knowledge, all of this understanding, but I'm not applying it right here at home. I don't have good boundaries. I people please. I very much do not. That is a ugly sentence, but I do not stand on business for real when I should. So that was that's something that I have to learn for myself, where if I'm going to be talking that talk, I better be walking that walk. Number 4, adulting is a real thing. Okay, the pain and experiences that you have after the age of 25, I promise you, they hit different. And they hit different because you're literally just in a totally different mental space. Not just because, oh, my frontal lobe developed, but really by that time, you are more than likely very much self-reliant and self-dependent if you hadn't been already. Because when you're in college, you have the fallback of being in college. But now as an adult, oh, you miss a couple bills or whatever, you can get evicted, credit can be shot, right? Like all kinds of stuff. You have a lot of duties and responsibilities because the world keeps spinning even if you're falling apart. And I talked about this so much in some other uploads, probably like my past 2 or 3. But like for real, being an adult really is a difficult, exhausting experience. Nobody is helping you. Nobody is really looking to hold your hand through stuff. And sorry, I wasn't digging up my nose. I had an itchy nose. But for real, that's honestly how I feel about adulting sometimes. It's just like flicking a fat ass boogie on it. But I would say to have a lot of grace and patience with yourself, right? Like after 25, especially because I think this is around the time that people start panicking if they're not already married, if they don't have children. I don't know. I think that life is a lot longer than what a lot of people feel it as and give it credit to be. And so once you hit like 25 plus, all of these feelings of panic just kind of start, like they exacerbate almost, like your age exacerbates the anxiety. And so it is very, very real. And I think, again, just having that grace and patience for yourself, that 25 and up is one hell of a ride. And the very last thing is inject positivity into every single aspect of your life. Celebrate the little victories, journal in the morning, and have gratefulness and reflection and mindfulness meditation. Listen to positive music. Oh my gosh, I cannot emphasize that enough. Listen to music that speaks life into you, that doesn't allow you to ruminate in sad and dark feelings. Open up a window. Like, seriously, think about intentionally positive, happy thoughts. Smile at yourself in the mirror. I promise you it goes a long, long way. And along those same lines, be selective of the external negativity that you're receiving, even from loved ones, right? That's why I try to be aware of how often I'm getting on my platforms crying, hooting, hollering, complaining, because it gets old. It does. It gets old fast to be in the same state of just want, and it weighs on you. It starts to just irritate the nervous system. Now, I will say that I've learned how to preface my hard feelings, right? My deep, intense feelings. I've learned how to ask people, are you in this space to receive this? Hey, could we talk another day, right? Like, I make a clear pathway to create that space for my negative emotions. So just try that for yourself too, right? And be a person that asks as well as a person who communicates, right? Hey, I have these emotions. Can I bring them to you? You know, hey, I'm not in this space, or yes, I am. Thank you for, allowing me to say yes or no and consent to like this just trauma dump. I think that is a key to having healthy, balanced relationships of any sort, is really just like keeping positivity at the forefront, keeping good emotions at the forefront, and then having a very honest conversation with yourself or with other people when the balance is off. When instead of positivity being at the front, it gets pushed into the background. That is probably a really good time for you to stop and sit and go, all right, let's have a reassessment of this bond, of this connection, of this moment, whatever it is. Let's stop and think about, why is my happiness way back here? And not even just happiness, why is my joy back here? Because happiness is transient, whereas joy is something internal. And the minute that you start to feel like that's being drained and robbed, sit down, slow down, take some inventory. But yeah, that's it. I said that I was going to give you a 5, and I truly believe that these 5 lessons can be used in any kind of context, and they can be used to elevate your life as a foundation. And not because I think I know everything, but really just seeing how much I have changed from one season to the next. These were the 5 things that I really tried to keep at the front of my mind and be intentional about and sit on and think about and really have a lot of effort for. And my life has definitely improved because of it. And I think that just by cycling these 5 lessons that ultimately result in me being a better, healthier version of myself, that is just all for the betterment, all for the better. That's it. That's all. I'm sorry that I was up here looking like, who is a purple creature? Like Barney. There it is. I'm sorry I'm out here looking like Barney with this mask on, but y'all, I have to get the skin right before I get on this flight, and I can't wait to take y'all with me to just like reflect on my 28th year, the singleness era, the re-entering the workforce era, like so much stuff that I want to talk about and just get out there. And I'm excited about that, as well as just getting back into some real focused content, talking about my work, talking about my school stuff, talking about all these things I'm about to lock in and get right. But first we celebrate. And we thank God that we made it a whole nother year around the sun. First, we celebrate and thank God that a season that I really thought that I wasn't going to survive, I made it out of. Not only did I make it out, I've made it better. And I'm just excited to see what this next chapter holds for me. And I'm excited to see where it takes y'all as well, especially if you do tap into any of these lessons. Let me know down below the one that you feel like you would want to practice or mantra on. Mantra. Y'all, I can't pronounce stuff. That means it's time to go to bed.